Hey Toolerinos, before I start this video, I wanted to give a shout out to Alex at Bloodshed Restorations. He has a really great channel with some awesome videos, good restoration videos, and some tool hauls. And I think he really should have more subscribers and more views than he typically gets. So please check out his channel, and if you like it as much as I do, please subscribe and let him know Time Flies in the Shop sent you. This needs to soak in a good solvent to get them apart, because the ones that are really stuck, I'm afraid if I force it, they'll bend the feeler gauge pieces, and I don't want to damage it. So that's going to need a long soak before that can get cleaned and put back together. This one box spanner type socket, it does have an M, so that should be a Frank Mossberg socket. This little wrench has the W in the diamond, so I believe that would be a Williams. And it just has a number, 725B, I believe that says. So I'll have to look that up and see what that's supposed to represent. This brace bit turned out to have a cool marking. STCO in a shield. I'm pretty sure that's like the Standard Drill Company or something from Cleveland. Have to double check that. This 1/2 inch bit has some kind of markings on there. I'm not really sure. I think I might say New Bedford or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll be able to tell on the camera. Alright, the really big screwdriver unfortunately is bent. Somebody was using it as a pry bar. Unfortunately, I might be able to straighten it out with some effort, but the only marking I could find on it here says Defiance. Next up we have a square file, and on the tang there is part of a logo. Cara something? I don't know. Have to try to figure that one out. On this round file, the tang is marked with Lutz, which is a brand I have other examples of. Next up is this triangular file, and it has cool markings. This side says extra slim. Over here it says Made in USA, and over here it says Nicholson. That's a cool logo. Nicholson had a cool logo. I cleaned up this old style looking Hammerhead, and I found 0 markings. So if I finish cleaning it up sometime and put a handle on it, maybe I'll stamp it Time Flies in the Shop or something, so it'll be marked for me. Next up is this 9/16 turn down shank drill bit, and it is a Morse, made in USA, so pretty cool. The tip's in really good shape. I have been told in the comments that this is a combination gas meter and water meter, or gas valve and water valve wrench, and I believe that's correct. Alright, I got a lot of comments on this. I called it a cutter or something. I didn't know what it was. It was all filthy. It is a little chewed up, but I believe the example I found on the internet was it looked just like this, and it said it was for a 1935 or 1936 Ford flathead 8-cylinder engine. I had no idea you could hand crank start an 8-cylinder engine. I guess they were pretty low compression back then, right? Next up, this saw set is marked Apex inside the handle on one side and Moral inside the handle on the other side. And with some lubricant, it is now turning and adjusting. Takes a little effort, but it is moving. And so you can set the angle. This wheel has a little different angle cut into it all the way around. If you can see that angle there. And so how you rotate it, you can see it says set to here. And whatever you set that to will be the angle that you put on your teeth of your saw. And it's lubricated and working perfectly. So pretty cool. I just noticed there's more markings right here. Let me wire brush that real quick and see what it is. Alright, pretty cool. It is patent dates and a maker's mark. Patented July of 1902 and March of 1916. And I think the maker's mark is OMO. OMO? Oh, there's a mark on the other side. There's a mark on the other side too. This tool just keeps on giving. Wait a minute. And there's something under there. Alright, hold on. Alright, so if I remove the adjusting screw here so we can see it better, you can see here it says Chas or Chase. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that. Moral. Registered Patent Office, New York. And then on this side it says Trademark Apex in a cool logo. Registered trademark. And over there it says 20. Not sure what the 20 represents, but yeah, they were serious about marking their tool. I think that's a sign of a quality tool, honestly. If they're going to go through the trouble of casting it and stamping it in all these places, they're proud of it, right? They want everyone to know who made it. So if they're proud of it, it must be a good tool. Next up is another look at the Ruby glass cutter. Has a tiny little cutter wheel here, but I'm not sure I have a Ruby brand. I have to look that up. Alright, next up is this Fisher's Service ratcheting automatic screwdriver. It's really hard to read, but it says Fisher's Service. And I just put some lube on it, and it ratchets perfectly both directions. And the lock works to release for the automatic screwdriver, and the chuck works, you know, perfect. So awesome find. Could be a good cleanup future project. The handle's filthy, and this is really brass with nickel plating, so I thought it'd be kind of cool to take the nickel plating off and polish that up so it would be wood, steel, and brass. Magdad would like that, right? Next up is the ice pick. The shaft wire brushed real nice. It came out very black, just like the old Stanley nail sets. It's missing the ferrule, but there are markings on the handle. And I was afraid to clean it too much because I was afraid I would clean the markings off. I can't quite tell what these things say. It says something on both sides. And on this side in red, it says phone 768 or 760 or something. So I think this was an advertising, free giveaway kind of piece for back in the day when everyone had an ice box and had ice deliveries. Alright, next up is what I called a spoke shave, but it's not a spoke shave. And some people said maybe it's a travisher. So I looked up travishers, and they're generally curved for carving out the bottom of a seat. And this has no curve to it. And it's worn away. It was used a lot. A good part of the markings here is missing because all the metal there has been worn away from use. So online, I believe it is just called a scraper. I'll show you a picture of it. And the blades that came in this tool haul that I assumed fit in here, they do not. It's too loose to fit under the lip on both sides. It's too wide to fit sort of right there. And I am certain that these blades don't go with this, and I'll show you why. Hopefully you guys can read it. It says Stanley Rule and Level on one side, and on the opposite side it is a Stanley Sweetheart. And you can see it says number 12B. Both the large plates that I have say the same thing. Stanley Sweetheart number 12B. Stanley Rule and Level. The shorter blade, which is the same width as these, only says Stanley Rule and Level. It does not have the other marking on the opposite side. But Stanley number 12 looks nothing like this. So I'll show you a picture of the Stanley number 12. Next up is this big beautiful tap handle. Wells Brothers, Greenfield, Massachusetts. And a little giant, and it says number 6. It is still froze up. It needs a little heat and more solvent, and we'll get it loose. So pretty cool to find a nice quality tool like that. I wire brushed this punch looking for a mark somewhere, even just a mark to say what size hole it was supposed to have, and there was no markings, unfortunately. Next up is the portable brace drill press. I'm not really sure what else to call it, but it does say Millers Falls Company, Millers Falls, Massachusetts, USA. So good marking there. But then the chuck itself also has Millers Falls embossments on it. So pretty cool. One other thing I noticed about this Millers Falls tool is, it does have the square sort of shank for the old style brace and breast drill here, but the chuck has 3 jaws. You can't hold a square 4-sided thing with 3 jaws, can you? So this is only then going to use a round shank bit. So I don't know if they're always like that, or if this is a later one, or what. If anybody knows, please give me some info in the comments. Thank you. And I thought this was interesting. Scout Crafter would appreciate this for sure. This is Bakelite. This 3 bulbs from 1. And around here it says Made in Japan, which I thought was kind of interesting. But then the fuse that was in it. Look at the fuse. It's got all this interesting information on it. Clear Sight, I think, was like the marketing brand of the Economy Fuse and Manufacturing Company. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but I don't think that's glass. I think that's like a piece of mica or something to look through to see the fusible link inside. So I think that's awesome. And then on the back here, it's got patent dates and everything all set in the plastic there. Pretty cool. I'll look up some of those patents. And that's just a super cool fuse, right? Remember what I said about things that are marked or made with pride? This thing was made with pride. And all these years later, it's still usable if you had a fuse socket. And finally, I really like this metric folding rule. I have a lot of folding rules. That could be a good follow-up video. How many folding rules do you need? I definitely have more than I need. But inside the folding rule, you'll see some words in red that I'm assuming identify the maker. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the follow-up video, and stay tuned for more.